Uncertain Spaces and Declared Spaces. An Introduction by Rob Getze. Upon seeing the new synagogue, Jesus says, "I think what's missing is an everyone welcome sign." Many religious buildings have a sign that says everyone welcome or all welcome. But what does that really mean? What does everyone welcome mean? Everyone welcome? Welcoming and affirming. Welcoming and not affirming of anyone whatsoever. Welcoming of people who are just like us. Our sign says welcome, come in and take your chances. And that's kind of how it is. The sign says everyone welcome, but you go in and you take your chances. Many people are already biased against the church. A study of 16 to 29-year-olds found the top 3 words associated with Christians are judgmental, hypocritical, and anti-homosexual. There's a major bias against the church, often for good reason. The person who is interested in connecting with God or others via faith community wants to know, will they accept me even though I'm from a different tradition? I lost my job last week. I'm from a lower social class. I'm part of a minority. I can't read. 10 years ago I'm married to someone of the same sex. If they knew that. And usually there's no way to know if they will accept you. So because they usually do not know, the church is an uncertain space for them. An uncertain space has not declared itself regarding if and how it values and embraces diverse people. And the key here is you don't know because they haven't said. So an uncertain space could be very embracing of people or very judgmental toward them. It's unknown, and it might even be unknown to existing church members. The trouble with uncertain spaces is that they are a barrier to people connecting to the local body of Christ. People going past such a church do not know if it might be just what they're looking for. They don't know if it is a church that will welcome and embrace them, bless them, and be blessed by them. Members of minority groups who enter uncertain spaces do not know what disclosure of information, what transgressions of unwritten behavioral codes might result in shaming, marginalization, discrimination, rejection, or physical harm. For a practical example, my denomination has 20 churches in this area. If you look on their websites, which these days is many people's first point of contact, none of them articulate if and how they value and embrace diverse people. Therefore, these 20 churches are uncertain spaces for all kinds of people. These 20 churches are uncertain spaces for everyone, and especially for people who have negative views of church, people who have had negative experiences with church or with Christians, people who have skeletons in the closet, people who are part of minorities. So I called the regional office and asked, are there any LGBTQ+ friendly churches? Why this question? Because in our day, if people who call themselves Christians are despising anyone, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people tend to top the list. And the answer was yes, 4 are LGBTQ+ friendly. What's the problem with this? What does it matter if no one knows that your church welcomes people of all ages and races, that it embraces those at the edges of society, that it is LGBTQ+ friendly? What does it matter if churches are uncertain spaces? After all, churches exist for themselves, don't they? Nice, happy little religious social clubs. The opposite of an uncertain space is a declared space. A declared space has clearly articulated if and how it values and embraces diverse people. Now, a declared space might be embracing, it might be hostile, it might be somewhere in between, but whatever it is clearly known and seen, intentionally or as a byproduct of other things. St. Atkins is a great example of a declared space. They like carnivores, they don't like vegetarians, and there's no doubt about it. But it can be a bit more complicated than that, can't it? Because carnivorianism versus vegetarianism is not critical of everyone. What do they believe about transubstantiation? I don't know, but they're pro-carnivore. That's good enough for me. Oh, but what if they don't accept divorced and remarried people like us? Oh. So you see, declaring yourself on one specific issue does not make for a declared space overall. A church in my neighborhood has a rainbow flag right on its sign declaring itself as LGBTQ plus friendly. But what about other things? There's no guarantee that a church that is LGBT friendly is also embracing of people from other cultures or racial backgrounds, socioeconomic groups, different ages, etc. Now, in this particular case, their website has this to say: we declare our commitment to opening our hearts and our church family to all people in the community, regardless of, and they put a list, and they say, as a compassionate and caring spiritual community, we will stand with those who are adversely affected by injustice, alienation, and oppression. From this and other things on the website, it's very clear they do value and embrace all people. The City of Refuge, which says in part, we at City of Refuge are giving birth to a fresh emerging Christian community. City of Refuge welcomes people to be who they are by embracing a theology of acceptance, a radical inclusivity that leaves no one behind. Peter Gomes said, if the gospel is truly good news, it has to be good news for everyone, for it is either an inclusive gospel or no gospel at all. Is the gospel your church preaches truly good news? Does it proclaim and live a gospel that values and embraces everyone? If your church believes that the gospel is good news for absolutely everybody, if your church embodies the love of Jesus, if they embrace everyone they meet, inside or outside of the building, if everyone has a place in your community, this shouldn't be a secret. Do not keep this hidden. Do not hide your light under a bushel, but put it out there so that it can be seen by everyone who passes by. There are people for whom Jesus gave his life, people who are desperately longing to belong, looking to be loved, hungry for community. If your church is for them, declare yourself.